Welcome to Shorty SuperCoach, and today we're going to be having a look at the Ruck division and what you should be looking for when you pick your Rucks in 2016 for SuperCoach. Obviously it was just released and we're really starting to get stuck into our teams now, and traditionally in the Ruck department we normally go with one premium Ruck that you're really confident on and it's going to average 100 to 110, lock him in, pick him from the start of the season, set and forget style, and then potentially you might pick a mid-pricer. There's often a Ruckman coming back from injury or an injury affected year that is often a popular pick that we pounce on in the past, and you go with that setup. Another one that people like to go with, because the Rucks can be difficult to manage and get over the course of the season, and given not all of them play all 22 games, some people like to go with the set and forget for the whole Ruck and just pick two premiums. This year I think we may see something a bit unique. I think we may see the two mid-price option, and the reason I think that is because there's some really good options in that price range. Two in particular that are sitting in my Ruck division at the moment. Matthew Leuenberg is all but a lock, to be honest. I mean, 310 I think he's at, and obviously with Bell Chambers going down and everything happened with Essendon there, how could you not pick him? I know his injury troubles has really haunted him at times, but given the opportunity, given that price, you have to pick him. And Matthew Lobe, also his potential scoring has been affected by the Essendon saga and the ban handed down. Ryder won't be playing this season, and all of a sudden he's going to shoulder a huge amount of ruck load for Port Adelaide. So that's who I've got at the moment. I think that'll be popular. You have to lock at least one of them in. And another reason I was doing that too is I would like to pick a Ruckman up at the top end and just bank on him, because Ruckman can score some pretty good points. But there's not a great deal of guys that I have massive faith in. Goldstein is way up there in the clouds. How can you pick him at that price? You know he's going to fall. It's just a matter of by how much. So I think he's the perfect guy to at some stage in the season jump on. And as far as all the others, I'm looking through. There's Jacobs, who, you know, he's a handy pick, but he's very expensive. Mumford, injury. Marriage at times, injuries as well. Just a lot of guys I was looking at. I couldn't really go, yep, I'll pick you, bank on it. Mark Blitzarves from the Cats is a guy I really thought about. I mean, to pick a midfielder in our Ruck department, wouldn't that be exciting? But what just slightly put me off, and I'm a Cats fan, is just all that changes through the Geelong midfield. I know he was great last year, but he is so versatile, and I think he'll play through the midfield, but you just don't know how much of a load he will shoulder in that midfield, with the likes of Dangerfield and potentially Bartel returning to midfield. Duncan will be back. So that just means while he probably will score anywhere between the 90 and 100 average, maybe when we're picking our Ruckman, you really want that 3 figures plus. So that's a little bit to think about. It'll be intriguing to see what sort of setup people go with, but I think everyone will be looking at Goldstein as a upgrade target throughout the year, and many will be locking in Leuenberger. Where you figure out other guys from there is totally up to you, and it'll be interesting to see the different formations. The Ruck 3 is a really interesting position as well, and I think last year with the first inclusion of just having one bench Ruckman, it was interesting. A lot of people sort of went with that dual position rookie that wasn't going to play, but you could rotate him with a forward player. I don't mind that, but I really see a lack of guys you could rotate him and switch him within the forward line. I think you're almost, I guess, giving away a spot in the forward line just for that off chance that you need a Ruckman to cover your other two Rucks, and, you know, swapping, you know, I think it was Mason Cox last year with a forward Ruck. I like that in theory. I just don't like throwing away position in the forward line that could be used better with picking a better forward. So how do you combat that? I think Derricks and Curry around the 160 to 170 mark will be popular, but they're no guarantee to play games. So one thing I will stress is I think it's very important to pick a playing Ruck 3 more than ever, because we've got insurance all over the ground. If a midfielder goes down, defender, forward, we've got 2 and 3 bench players to pick from, and potentially some dual position players. The Ruck, if your Ruck goes down, which by the way are the most common ones to be rested or go down with an injury, we've got nothing. You got to use a trade, which at times can be hugely unwanted and really wreck your plans as far as trades and can really hurt you. So I think if we can, I'm not saying go beyond the means and spend too much on your Ruck bench, but if you can, definitely get a Ruck playing in that third bench spot, because it's so important, whether that's Curry, Derricks, the Sydney Ruck, Naismith, if I'm saying that correctly, and there's other players down there. And look, without the sub rule, that could be differently interpreted as well. There may be extra ruckmen playing, because the trend had been that you'd only go with one ruck, because having two and you know, you're just going to have to sub them off, it wasn't worth it. So food for thought there. I think it's important to, just that worst case scenario, there's nothing worse than you think your team's travelling along well, you're going nicely, and then your ruckman goes down and you've got absolutely no one to cover him with. So that's a situation we do not want, so bear that in mind when you're picking your rucks. And anyway, that's enough for me about talking about the ruckman. I want to hear what you've got to say. I mean, what setup are you going to go with? Leave a comment. Doesn't have to be necessary names you're going with at this point in time, because it is early, but what sort of formation do you like to go with? Do you lock in two premiums, 1 and 1? How are you looking at with that ruck 3 position? Let me know. Give the video a like if you enjoyed it. No doubt subscribe to the channel, because there'll be plenty of SuperCoach stuff coming your way, that's for sure. We'll take a look at the forwards next. I've also looked at the defenders and the midfield as far as my philosophies and guidelines when I really pick my different positions and what I look for, because it is different in each position what you really look for from scoring point of view, and even the mid-price option is interesting too. But give me your thoughts, and certainly keep clicking back, because there's plenty of SuperCoach content coming your way.